exercise our responsibility maturely and with good stewardship without over politicizing things to the point that it leads to division when we don't think people hold to the same issues that we do, which are second to third issues of importance that you've referred to.
Yeah. Whew. That's loaded. I think the first thing, and really honestly, what I'm really trying to accomplish in this chapter is not to give every caveat that you could possibly want to know about in this regard, but I want to expose the fact that I think, particularly in the spaces that I find myself inhabiting, I think that there is a set of lenses that we have put on that sit behind our gospel lenses, and those are our political lenses. And I think that we get a little squeamish if you are inclined towards a Republican position or Republican Party on most issues. We get squeamish not knowing what to do when we read Jesus saying that we should care for the downtrodden, because that's a liberal verse. But what have we just done there? We've said, oh, this verse belongs to a liberal category, and I'm uncomfortable with it, which shows that my priority is not my allegiance to Scripture and the ethic proposed by Scripture, but rather I've been given a pre-constructed bill of issues and stances on them. And this one that Jesus is espousing seems like it leads to running roughshod against some of those party line items. Well, what we've just seen there is that we've given preference not to reading Scripture and allowing the gospel and the word to be our lens of primary adjudication, where we would actually say, look, they're the endorsement of life from womb to tomb is an issue that Scripture drives us to, and immigration reform and the recognition of the human dignity at the border should also be. And instead of seeing tension in Scripture at some of those points, we should see tension in the fact, like, oh, maybe neither Republican nor Democrat are actually the saviors we're looking for. And I think what I'm really just trying to push for is to say, let's be very, very careful to remove those political lenses that we tend to operate under, and just simply read through the lens of Scripture and consider the issues as they come to us in a biblical perspective. And I think what we're going to find is that neither of these parties is the hope of the church. And I hope we do find that, because our hope is an unshakable kingdom. And at the same time, I don't want to be dismissive. As you mentioned, we live in a context where in our governmental system, I do think we have a moral obligation to speak according to our convictions by means of our vote, and to do so in ways that reflect our Christian beliefs. So our vote is not inconsequential. It's not unimportant, nor is it something amoral. I think we have a moral obligation to be involved to the degree that we are expected to as citizens of this democratic republic. But our involvement must be divorced from where our ultimate hope is. And I think we get those things confused, such that whatever party you skew towards, first of all, it's a false dichotomy that we've bought into, that there's only two options. So I'll just throw that out there. But whatever party we skew towards, if the opposing party wins in any given election, there's going to be voices on either side of the aisle who are wringing their hands, saying, like, this is the end, this is apocalyptic, like, surely this is one of the beasts of Revelation. And we get so hung up on the consequences of this election that we actually display the fact that our hope is probably misplaced. We put too much weight on the outcomes here because we've thought that these are the answers.